Welcome to the You Dad Me a Hello podcast. I'm RJ. This is Mike and Andy. We're coming at you with episode 25. We are a quarter of
a century
the way to 100. Yes, it's we're thanking you guys for being with us. We're live on YouTube tonight. We're live on Facebook. We have been sending out the brackets to you guys this week. We hope you're as excited as you were in the comments section all week and as passionate and violent as you were about who should be in the mix. How you guys feeling this week? Anything going on in your lives other than this dollar store apple soda I found?
Nice. You always find stuff at the dollar store.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were drinking. More car troubles for me. Yep.
That's
so I have to fix Kate's exhaust because it fell off her car while she was driving.
That stinks.
So I have to do that. And at Target, a carriage hit the side of my car and dented it and then scratched the whole passenger side. So now I'm in contact with their LP and claims department.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What Target was this?
The one on Route 2. But they've treated me well, so I'm not saying anything bad happened.
Yeah, it wasn't their fault. It was
no, it definitely wasn't. No. An employee actually saw it happen. Apparently some lady just like pushed the carriage into the corral without like locking it in, and it just escaped and then just happened to smash into my car, and that was awesome, but not really.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Andy?
I've had the week off, so I've been doing a lot of nothing. No, I've been taking
I'm sure your wife loves that.
Yeah, no, taking the family. We've been going to the playground, here and there, and just getting out outside. It's been nice. Saw our first snake in the yard today, so won't be out there for much longer. Went across Tina's feet, and she screamed, and it was only a little baby one, but it's enough because we know where the little ones are. That means the big ones are coming out somewhere, so they're hiding. Not
touched a human. It touched a human. That's it. It's the end.
It's always Tina. It's always Tina. She had a gigantic, 3-foot one that landed on her feet one day.
Get the napalm, burn the grass.
Well, thank you to everyone showing up in force today. I think there's a lot of passionate people about top 90s action movies. Did you guys get to catch any 90s action movies in the last couple of weeks here?
No, I haven't been able to catch any of these in the last 30 years. At least half of them.
You're not supposed to tell people that you're not qualified for this podcast today.
It's gonna be very clear as we go through this. So let me just get the cat out of the bag here. So probably about half of these movies I've seen. This is not one of my topics. I'm sorry. 2 out of 3, it trumped me. So I'm into certain things, and they're not. So obviously, we talked about I'm big into mobster movies, and you guys have seen none of them. So if anybody's expecting that episode to ever drop, it's not going to happen because it'll just be me talking, and no one wants to hear that. But this is important because I am maybe a little ill-informed on some of these movies. We all know I do not take peer pressure. I don't give into it, but this is going to be one of those exceptions. So if you guys want a particular movie to move on, be vocal. RJ will pop them up on the screen, and it might influence me. Just saying.
Andy might have to be the tiebreaker for some of these. Yeah.
And I forgot literally I was going to flip a coin to make you guys really pissed off at me, but I didn't.
We've got a couple of announcements before we move into the tournament, and I'll hit it up now because we seem to have the most people watching now. So before we lose you in the next 10 minutes, first off, we do some music as well. RJ Gun Music and V-Rat. Here's our latest hit that just came out last Friday called 1 Year and 10. Check it out.
Been in some fights, fighting some foes. When will this end? I guess that nobody knows. My heart needs to be repaired from the pain. I'll never be alive until.
There's a lot of twists and turns in that song too.
There is, yeah, it gets crazy. Andy is the high vocals in the back.
Yes.
No, he's not.
It's just see me seeing the snake in the yard.
No, Caitlin, that will come later in the midway. You've ruined my joke. But anyways, and we got another big announcement. So this podcast is about 2 weeks or so before Andy's birthday. And by the time we release this podcast, it'll be 2 weeks after his birthday. So we decided that we would celebrate it today, and we have a special guest here to join us and say happy birthday to Andy. So here he is.
Awesome, Andy. This is Gangrel the Vampire Warrior, and I want to wish you a happy 36th birthday coming up. Well, actually, your friend of 33 years since preschool wants me to wish you a happy birthday. So, Russell Gunn, there it is, man. I'm sending that love for you there. Awesome, Andy. Awesome, Andy. I hope it's a banging birthday. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic. You can't celebrate the way you want to celebrate, probably, but I hope you celebrate the safest and you have the most fun that you could possibly have. So happy 36, my man. Happy born day coming up. And Russell, that's great. You know, I'm gonna get out of character here, do some other things, but that's really cool that you have friends for 33 years, played baseball together, did some backdoor wrestling and music together, and now you have an entertainment podcast. That is truly awesome. Truly, truly awesome. That is truly banging and banging. Awesome, Andy. Have a tremendous birthday, Russell. Good dude. Wishing your man a happy birthday. The two of you have a banging and banging day.
All right.
I was not expecting that whatsoever. I didn't know what was happening.
So for anyone who has no idea who that was Gangrel from the Brood. He used to be in the WWE. And now he is doing cameo videos.
Now he's celebrating my birthday. Hey, that dude's still going, man.
He's banging and banging.
I've been seeing him in some matches, right before the pandemic. He's still going, man.
So I have to admit, I was in the mix between Gangrel and Christopher Daniels, and I watched a couple of their videos, and Christopher Daniels was just kind of boring. So I went with Gangrel. Christopher Daniels probably would have been like the more like professional, like that's cool, but Gangrel, man, like he's a vampire.
Yeah, it would be awesome if he would spit some blood at us.
The second surprise is a bloodbath.
My light just turns off.
Tina comes in.
I come up from the ground.
What does it go? All right, and we've lost half our viewers.
All right, we're 8 minutes in. Let's go through it.
This is not a wrestling themed. By the way, I will send you a copy of that video so you have it forever.
Awesome,
because that is your birthday gift.
I'll take it.
Socially distanced birthday gift.
Yeah. But anyways, hey, here we are. Let's take a look at the stuff. It is the top 90s action movies. Now, I would say most people really took to the bracket. They thought, hey, there's some really, really good movies in here. They were really happy. A lot of shout outs for The Fifth Element, Independence Day, Speed, Matrix. We had a couple of haters, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being in there, and a couple other ones. But really, it was Mike that changed my mind on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I wanted the first one in it because it has Chicago PD's Casey Jones in it, but he reminded me of Ninja Rap with Vanilla Ice. So
Vanilla Ice, yeah,
kind of, and Bebop and Rocksteady, right? Aren't they in it too? So
no, we're gonna talk about that.
Whatever the two dudes are, the ghetto versions. But anyways, I'm excited. Thank you, Lori.
RJ's just
get started here.
Do podcast things, yeah. RJ's podcast things.
I'm sorry, I'm producing at the same time. Andy was like, "I'll do it," and I was like, "We have to share a screen." He's like, "Nope, I don't know how to share a screen."
Nope.
Right.
Andy doesn't share anything.
You told me that, and I was like, "That's what I said." that was just a machine. Everybody, I'm not turning everyone up here on the show.
We're dads. That's what we do. We do these things.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, here we are. Our first section here: True Lies versus Face Off. What do you guys think, Andy? You have a lot of thoughts on these.
I've seen one of these movies, and that's the one I'm going with. Face Off.
Face Off. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I have to admit, when I was first thinking of Face Off, I was picturing Christian Slater in Broken Arrow. Very different movies, but so for like a good halfway of thinking about these movies, I was like, oh, Christian Slater, yeah. And then I realized it wasn't him.
He's in True Lies though for like a minute.
What? Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
Slater in True Lies.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
I just saw it, so I did just watch True Lies yesterday, and I was reminded of how great that movie is. Arnold Schwarzenegger is hilariously good in it. I had forgotten who his partner is. Tom Arnold was his partner in it. It was kind of cool to see him again. I haven't seen him in years. So I'm going to go with True Lies for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with True Lies also. And I love Face Off. Great movie. One of John Woo's, early American movies. I did want to have Hard Boiled on this list, but you guys had no idea what I was talking about. You just kept talking about the movie poster where he's holding a giant man baby. True Lies as like a pure action movie just has way more action in it.
Yeah, and actually, we'll talk a little bit more about True Lies later. What do you guys think about Face Off? Any last notes before we kick it out?
I mean, you're kicking out a movie that has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, your trusty site, RJ, that you always go with.
Yeah, those fresh apples.
Yeah.
Fresh peaches.
I actually watched this movie. Nicolas Cage, John Travolta. Originally it was supposed to be Arnold and Sylvester Stallone. So picture that, people. Basically, think about it. Are they going to get their mannerisms down? No. Like, you can't understand either one of them. So that would have been a totally different movie. I remember liking it when I watched it. I don't really remember much of it after that. So,
a really cool thing I actually looked at was Nicolas Cage and John Travolta actually did spend about 2 weeks together before filming, deciding on what specific gestures and vocal cadences for each character that they would mimic. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I think at one point there's a line in the movie where he says like, my chin is super big or whatever, and John Travolta thought they were making fun of him, and they had to convince him that no, it's just the other dude's a narcissist and he wouldn't want anybody else's face. And so I thought that was kind of funny. But Mike?
Yeah, I just think the premise of Face Off is, and this is going to sound dumb coming from me, knowing some of the movies that I watch, but the premise for Face Off is completely ridiculous. That they literally switched faces. Like he had a doctor cut his face off and someone else's face off and put it on his face so he could be the other guy to do just ridiculous. Like their skulls aren't the same, their facial construction's not the same, so it wouldn't work. And then how did their voices change? Because they didn't change the voice box, it was a microchip. There's too much. It's too crazy.
I think in some of these movies we're going to talk about that was too much.
Too much.
All right. Well, moving on. We've got Bad Boys versus Rumble in the Bronx.
Bad Boys for me.
Well, this is tough. This is
tough for me. So I think I'm going to make the audience upset on this one, but I was thinking a lot about it. Bad Boys is a great movie, very funny. But Rumble in the Bronx has stuck with me since the day I saw it. The fighting in it is amazing. There's a fight scene in a pool hall, not a pool hall, but there's a pool table. It's a great scene. The fight that's in the market is amazing. I love the ending of all the Jackie Chan movies where they show all of the mess ups or the bloopers of the time. Jackie Chan was just really, really good. And what's funny about it is he's really, really good when he's dubbed. Yeah. And this was one of the first major movies that hit America and did really, really well. So I'm going to go with Rumble in the Bronx on this one.
I honestly think I also have to go with Rumble in the Bronx. This might just turn into us voting against Andy every single round.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, what movies have you seen? Let's not vote for them.
And Bad Boys was one of like the first, I want to say like real action movies I saw that wasn't geared towards like a younger audience. Like it was one of my first like rated R action movies. Ooh. So I think, salacious. Like the car chase scenes, and the shootouts, it's a Michael Bay film. So, I mean, there's like a zillion explosions. So everything explodes. I think maybe someone's hand explodes at some point. I don't know. I might be making that up. Yeah, but I agree with RJ. The Rumble in the Bronx fight scenes and Jackie Chan. We'll get more into that later. Spoilers.
Just a quick reminder to the audience tonight. It is now time for my children to go to bed. So if you're currently watching the podcast, I do apologize. You will have to go to bed. But shout out for watching. I appreciate y'all. But y'all got school tomorrow. So
if you hear children screaming, it's because they're just fighting sleep.
Yes. They're downstairs. But thank you guys for watching. Not everyone, just my children. Everybody else has to stay.
Yeah, you guys don't have to go to bed yet.
Don't go anywhere, please.
We will put you to sleep. All right. So Bad Boys is out. It's fine.
I do feel weird throwing Bad Boys out in the first round.
You know what?
I do too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird action comedy. I think they were in our comedy movies as well. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, just a dynamic duo. This movie is maybe more funny than action, but yeah, Michael Bay, who directed the movie, likes to blow stuff up and kind of adds that. This is really a breakout movie for Will Smith as well. Again, here's another one where the movie could have went in a completely different direction, and that's if Disney, who was originally set to produce this, they were going to put John Lovitz and Dana Carvey in the lead roles.
Oh my word!
I almost just spit my beer all over my desk.
Yeah, they would tell John Lovitz about hey, this is what's going on. He's like, it stinks.
It stinks.
So, the opening carjacking scene had 18 F-bombs in it. All right. And I guess Bay showed this film to the scene to his mother, and his mother was like, there's just way too much cussing in this first scene. So he did the honorable thing and dropped it from 18 to 12. I mean, come on, let's give it up for Michael Bay for doing the right thing here.
Slow golf clap, Michael Bay.
Mom, can I drop 6 F-bombs? Will that do it for you? All right. They negotiated how many F-bombs we can get in.
Well,
anywho,
yeah, I don't have too much to say other than those Rotten Tomatoes comes in at 43%.
Yeah, not a great
it was not one of the more positive films. Bad Boys stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They have enjoyable chemistry, but unfortunately, the director, Michael Bay, too often drowns it out with explosions in place of an actual story. So, again, Rumble in the Bronx, I have much more to say about that later. But, Mike, do you have anything left to say about Bad Boys?
No, I'm good. We've said our piece.
All right. Goodbye to Bad Boys in the first round.
R.I.P.
Next up, Rush Hour versus Independence Day.
Oh, there's that other Jackie Chan movie we were talking about.
And another Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
I already know that I'm losing this one. So I'm just gonna get out of the way and say Independence Day, even though that's gone.
Well, surprise.
Oh, really?
I'm going with Rush Hour. No, I'm going to go with Independence Day. I actually love Independence Day.
All right.
Again, Rush Hour. I almost put Rush Hour and Bad Boys, like you said, in the comedy section more than I do in the action. It's like comedy with action in the background. But I love Rush Hour. It's great. Jackie Chan actually hates it.
Really?
He does not like it.
Wait, he hates it so much he did 2 sequels?
He gets paid. No, actually, and we'll talk about this more, but this is actually his first non-dubbed movie, and he hates his own voice when it comes to English, and did not enjoy doing it. He thinks he sounds dumb, and he can't understand anything that his partner says, is what the quote was. So I'm going to go with Independence Day.
Chan. As
he's
I was
the man.
reading these notes, I mean, obviously he does his own stunts and all that, but to just learn a new language and to do a movie, that's you know how hard that is as an adult. They say how much harder it is as an adult to learn a new language. So props.
I only know 2 languages, English and bad English.
Yeah.
I know what movie that's from.
Yeah, as a throwback to today in the future.
In the future, yeah. I love Rush Hour. Saw Rush Hour 2 in the theater because I love the first one so much, and Jackie Chan is such a great martial artist. He brings a whole different element to like fighting scenes that you wouldn't normally see, especially in American cinema, where it's mostly just kind of like punching and throwing people through things.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Fifth Element, right?
Oh, that's like a call forward too.
It's kind of, I don't know. I'm speechless. You got me. You got me with the Fifth Element.
Well,
Sorry.
So Jackie Chan, not only, is he trying to do this movie in a new language, then you got Chris Tucker, who is a stand-up comedian, and he was doing
not an action star.
Yeah, and he was doing a lot of ad-libbing, and Jackie Chan's, trying to stick to the script because he's trying to understand the language. And here's, Chris Tucker saying, all this stuff, and he wasn't, obviously Jackie Chan didn't take too kindly in that. Yeah, but anyways, I got thrown off by the Mike speeches, which made me so let's move on to the next one.
I found the quote. So Chan has expressed dissatisfaction with the film, saying, "I didn't like the movie. I still don't like the movie. I don't like the way I speak English, and I don't know what Chris Tucker is saying. If you see my Hong Kong movies, you know what happens. Bam, bam, bam. Always Jackie Chan style. Me, 10 minutes of fighting." So,
do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, and we were talking about that before. There's things that just don't age well. So let's move on.
But anyways, moving on. We've got, speaking of elements, The Fifth Element versus The Boondock Saints. Man, this is a tough one for me. Very different movies, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Sci-fi action versus revenge action, or justice action, I should say.
Is that a
Revengeance?
Oh, what?
Is that a thing?
Justice action?
Revenge and vengeance is revengeance. It's not a real word.
So a good friend of Andy and I's, Dean, who is mentioned numerous times in this podcast, is introduced me to the Boondock Saints. Never heard of it at all. And Norman Reedus was one of the Boondock Saints, who goes on to play Daryl in The Walking Dead. Probably one of my favorite people in the TV world. So I don't know. TV. Yeah, in the TV. The Fifth Element I just watched today again. I hadn't realized, it's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but I hadn't realized just how also terrible that movie is in the beginning. Like with the aliens and it's really over the top, but it's cultish. Like it's got that cult classic feel. But at the time, it actually, a lot of people hated it. A lot of people loved it. It was back and forth. But all that to say, and I agree with Courtney, the Boondock Saints, and yes, the cat scene.
Andy, what do you look like? You got something to say?
Yeah, here are two movies that I have watched. Not a fan of Fifth Element, unfortunately. Like, it's just not my style of movie. It was something that was, I think my stepfather watched it a lot, and I just kind of sat there and was like, I don't know. I don't get it. I was a teenager and I was just like over my head. So I was like, let me refresh my memory, and I like watched the trailer and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like totally lost by the trailer. Never mind when I sat there watching the movie. I think that's what happened. I think when I was watching the movie, I was so completely lost to what was going on. I was thinking about other stuff. Like, so for me, Boondock Saints takes the win here.
All right. Boondock Saints moving on. Mike, how do you feel?
I agree. I don't disagree with anything that you guys said. I love The Fifth Element. Both of these movies are kind of cult classics. Like when they were in the theaters, they didn't really do that well. Boondock Saints, I think, completely flopped in the theaters. I don't think it actually picked up steam until it got to home video. But I absolutely love both of these movies. But Boondock Saints, to throw out
Chris Tucker for a second time.
Yeah, I mean, he's great in Fifth Element as Ruby Rod. But there's a little bit of an element to action movies to be a little bit on the darker side.
Was that 5 elements?
There's 5 elements, but the 5th element was missing a 6th element, which was seriousness. There was no seriousness at all. Too over the top. The aliens, like you were saying, RJ, kind of ridiculous. Like the
they look like the Goombas from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, they didn't age well at all. They got these big floppy ears that I forgot about. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I got big floppy ears.
Yeah. Yeah, you were an extra in that movie. But yeah, Boondock Saints.
Like great makeup. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, Boondock Saints would have been my choice also.
All right, Boondock Saints. Moving on. Next up is a
This is
weird
an
one.
interesting one.
Weird
Yeah.
one.
Mm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, by the way, Secret of the Ooze,
Mm.
versus Mortal Kombat, the original. Super excited, by the way. Mortal Kombat, April 16th.
April 16th.
Coming out on HBO Max, which I have. I'm very excited about that. I only wish my kids were old enough to watch it. But I love Mortal Kombat, but I also love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What do you guys think?
I don't like either one of these things.
What? Wait,
I'm
I see
fine.
what you're saying. I got you. My bad. Sorry, hold on. Okay, there we go. There they are. It's like you knew they were going to battle.
There too.
Yeah, no, I actually hate that these are in the same round. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you guys go first because
All right.
Andy, have
someone-
you seen either of these?
someone's going to break my heart.
Yes. Yes. I don't
You
remember
telling
if I
yourself?
saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I feel like I have.
Go
I
Ninja,
don't-
go Ninja, go.
Yeah, like everybody knows that scene.
Super Shredder,
Um,
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Kevin Nash was super
yeah,
fair.
all right.
Ernie
so-
Reyes Jr., you know him.
Yeah.
Actually, he was in Surf Ninjas.
I'm looking at his picture right now.
Ooh, Surf Ninjas almost made the cut. No, it didn't. But
God, no.
I love
All
it.
It
I'm going-
was
I'm
only
going-
on your list.
I'm going with Mortal Kombat.
if only for the theme song.
Yeah,
Might be one of the coolest theme songs in movie history.
it's synonymous with Mortal Kombat, but it was only in the first movie, which is weird.
What do you mean? As opposed to what? What else?
Like the video games,
It was never in the video games.
it was never in the video games.
Look at that. See, they got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you choose? Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's what I choose.
I think I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat 2. It's just such an epic movie, and there are not a lot of good video game movies. But I am a fan of Mortal Kombat, and I also am a fan of Super Mario Brothers, which a lot of people hate. But Mortal Kombat's great, and it's so good. They're coming out with a sequel. They only make reboots of good things, as you know.
They've rebooted Ninja Turtles like 4 times.
Fuller House. But yeah, no, Mortal Kombat for me too.
Yeah, I could have gone either way with this one. That's why I wanted to let you guys just figure it out.
I feel like we should have had the first. I feel like we should have had the first one on there. The first,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
It's-
I like all 3, even though a lot of people hate the third one. But I thought it was good.
I mean, so the second one, 35% Rotten Tomatoes. That's not a good score whatsoever. Basically, they're saying like this movie was rushed because of the success of the first one. They really pushed
Yeah.
to get this one out within
Absolutely.
a year. And there was a lot of things that they kind of took away. They felt like the first one was a little too violent, so they kind of cut back on some of that. Michelangelo's nunchucks were banned. They didn't have those in there.
Yeah, there was another reason for that, but
Yeah, and then Bebop and Rocksteady. Like you have Shredder having 2 sidekicks, and it wasn't them. So that kind of made people angry, and that we started talking about that before the podcast. Like, yeah. So there's a lot of mixed reviews on this movie. So,
yeah, I feel the second movie I personally feel had a little bit more substance. It had more comedy. It had the characters kind of playing off each other more in a comedic way, more similar to the cartoon, where the first movie was more based actually on the comic books, which is why it was so dark and a little bit more violent. And also the reason why Michelangelo didn't have his nunchucks in the animated series, they actually took the nunchucks away and gave him a grappling hook because they figured that was less violent. Like they didn't want kids to have nunchucks, but they were cool with swords and stuff. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, stole it from Batman. But yeah, I mean, I could have honestly gone either way. I've watched Ninja Turtles so many times. I still watch Mortal Kombat actually. probably once a month, maybe every other month. I don't know. I watch it so much because I'm a huge fan of just the series in general, games, movies, comic books. I've got action figures, so yeah, this would have been a tough one for me. So thank you for making the choice.
No problem. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Mortal Kombat. I don't have too much to say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, I thought it was great. It's got terrible reviews across the board.
They both do, I think, honestly.
That's true. But I mean, Kevin Nash is in it as the Super Shredder, which is pretty awesome. I think one of the
that makes it too sweet.
That's true. One of the reviews here states not only is the movie's juvenile dialogue unbearable for adults, but the turtles' dopey and casual attitude towards physical violence make them poor kids' role models.
I wish I had a mustache I could have twisted.
They're giant human-sized turtles. Like what?
Yeah,
this might be a Shakespearean play.
Moving on is probably the toughest one for the audience so far. This was the sum of a lot of arguments on multiple social media outlets.
I saw two guys fighting at the grocery store about it.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day versus The Matrix. Wow.
Right.
If we're going on pure action, just pure action movie,
Oops.
and RJ is a great representation of both of these movies. I would personally have to say Terminator. The Matrix is a movie with action, but not a complete action movie, in my opinion. So Terminator is my pick.
I'm just gonna get like throw the hate at me now. I have not seen either one of these movies.
Oh my word! What? I mean, I already knew that you hadn't seen T2.
If my desk wasn't so heavy, I'd flip it over right now.
Arnold's not one of my favorite. Like I don't know. Matrix, I don't. It doesn't appeal to me. I saw Matrix 2 in theaters. What is it? Reloaded or whatever.
That was a bad choice.
Oh my lord! One of the worst movies I have ever seen. I've never.
You saw a middle movie of a trilogy completely out of context.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? Let me tell you, that movie went over like a fart in church in the theater. Like, seriously, this is the only movie I've ever been to where at the end of the movie, the people in the theater went, like, at the same time. I swear, it was the funniest thing. I like lost it when everybody. 50 people just disgusted at what they saw. So pick for me.
What do you pick for you? You've got to pick a movie.
No, I mean pick, and then if I have to,
okay.
I don't know.
I mean, let me just talk about The Matrix real quick. I never ever wanted to see The Matrix. There was nothing about it that made it interesting for me. I had a friend at the time who was super into it, made me watch it, and I liked it. It was good. I like Keanu Reeves. I like John Wick Keanu Reeves more than I like Matrix Keanu Reeves. I like Speed Keanu Reeves as well, which is a throw forward. But at this rate, I'm going to go with Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Terminator 2 is a rare movie that is a sequel that stands alone. You don't need to see the first one. You definitely don't need to see the ones after it. Okay. Terminator 2 Judgment Day stands on its own. Sarah Connor is amazing. John Connor is amazing in the movie. The cop, who is this awesome dude that's in everything, and I can't remember his name.
Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick, yes. Yeah. Awesome in the movie as the villain. And the awesome part about this is Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't have to pretend he's not a robot. So it works. Like, he doesn't have to speak, in any way, shape, or form. Yes, Tina. Yes, it is. I like Keanu Reeves. He's the male Rachel McAdams.
Keanu Reeves is like one of the coolest dudes like ever. Like anybody who ever says anything about him is like
It's Johnny Silverhand.
Jesse just sends me memes of the nice things that he does for people. I guess he rode the subway once, and I don't know.
If I could be like half like as decent as him, I'd be okay. Like,
I think Tina agrees. So anyways, I don't know if I made it clear. Terminator 2, Judgment Day for me.
Talking about the Matrix.
Yeah, let's do it.
Both of these movies are on my favorite movies of all time list, so I'll get that out of the way. I don't dislike
Lawrence Fishburne now doesn't like you anymore. So
why doesn't he like me? I've never
you
met
voted
that.
it out.
Yeah, but he doesn't know me.
Why is he the
me.
one guy that doesn't like it? Shouldn't the whole people
Well,
in the movie?
Keanu
And he's
Reeves
not
is
even
like,
the one.
Keanu Reeves isn't
Keanu-
going to get mad at anybody.
Keanu
That's
Reeves
true.
is the one. Lawrence Fishburne.
All right,
has
Hugo
nothing to do.
Weaving is also like, I don't like it either.
Yeah, but I really like Lord of the Rings, so now.
All right, so he's all right.
All right.
Um,
Well, hey, we just kicked out a movie that it has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got an A- on Cinema Score. It's ranked 32 among critics of the greatest films ever made in 2012. So, I mean, yeah, it's a great movie. This is one of your favorite movies, Mike. What do you think?
So first of all, I fought to keep Matrix on the list, not foreseeing that it might be going up against Terminator 2, one of the best action films of all time.
RJ did that on purpose.
So-
He's like,
It was randomized, completely randomized.
it was
Yeah.
randomized.
Yeah, random. Let's just move this over here and just
This is
put
what you-
this one
You
over
disagree with me, I'm
here.
going to put it over here.
You know, the Matrix, as far as
You
like
come down to our show.
like the cultural significance for the Matrix is it pioneered so many things that action movies replicated, you know, and I think we had talked about this back on comedies with, you know, Kung Pao even copied like the whole thing with the bullets and you know,
Trish
where he's
Stratus
fighting
did
the-
too.
Yeah, he's fighting the cow. Yeah, Trish Stratus. Pretty much anything and everything. So that 360 degree. Wow. Hold
What?
on. Back
Yeah.
up. Zoop, 360 degree camera, slow-mo kind of thing they got going on. And then all of the sort of undertones, the biblical undertones and everything kind of added a whole nother layer to that movie that kind of makes you want to go back and watch and see how many things you can pick up on and how many things you missed the first time and second time. You know, I still notice things after watching it, you know, countless times. But again, you're going up against Terminator 2, which, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about more, but that movie is just like a blockbuster. So as the Hollywood elites would say.
Yeah. And here's another one that could have been completely different with the casting. Will Smith actually gave up or turned down the role to go do Wild Wild West.
Oh, God.
Well, that was a great
But-
choice.
But Will Smith later admitted, basically said, you know, he was quoted saying he was not mature enough as an actor, and that if he was given the role, he would have messed it up. So he had no regrets.
So the guy from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was more mature.
He was, I mean, clearly.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
then-
obviously he
yeah.
was, but
And then Sandra Bullock had been offered the role of Trinity, and she turned it down. So again, we could have had it's so weird when you read some of these, like who could have actually been in there. I'm still blown away by John Lovitz and Dana Carvey. Bad Boys. That'd been great.
chopping.
All right. Well, moving on, we've got Die Hard with a Vengeance versus Starship Troopers. This is an odd pairing,
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
but I'm just going to go right out and say it. Starship Troopers. It's one of the best
Who?
movies ever made.
What movie did you just say?
Starship
Who's
Troopers?
Starship Troopers?
I said Starship Troopers.
You said Starship. We're gonna
my
replay
word.
that.
You know, you're lucky that there's only...
One more minute till the end of the night. But how could we end when it feels so right?
All right,
What
so
were
you go. What are you going with? You going Starships?
Starship Troopers for
Yeah,
sure.
That was the little known Eric Estrada spinoff from the 90s. Starship Troopers.
Starship Patrol. No, it was a satirical military science fiction action film starring Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards, Neil Patrick Harris, Patrick Muldoon. A lot of great stuff. Michael Ironside.
I totally forgot that Neil Patrick Harris was in there until I.
Yes, it's awesome. It's a lot of satire on the army and the politics at the time. It actually, Slant Magazine ranked it number 20 on the list of 100 best films of the 90s. Again, negative reviews when it first came out, but it definitely got a cult classic following. And it's great. I love it. I think it's awesome. The graphics are not too bad. And as a child, I actually watched, there was a cartoon, not a cartoon, but like a computer generated Starship Troopers, VR Troopers, maybe.
Roughnecks. Roughnecks.
Yeah. And I used to watch that in the morning before school. So Starship Troopers for me.
Is that why you were late every day?
Yes. And I lived
across the street. You could have literally just touched the school and been on time. And you're like, need to watch the Starship Troopers.
Yeah, but he wanted to watch cartoons. Okay,
Yeah.
Just leave the man alone.
No, I forgot you guys are the same. All right. What's your pick here, Mike?
I don't know. Do you have any input at all on this one?
Yeah, one movie I saw and one movie I don't like at all.
Super helpful. I'm gonna go with Starship Troopers, and Die Hard with a Vengeance also great. But I feel like it, and I know this is kind of like skewing the rules a little bit, but I think it pales in comparison to the original Die Hard. It just doesn't live up to it. And I know it's not even the second movie, it's the third movie. So don't come at me. I know what I'm talking about. Starship Troopers is just an awesome movie. And I think besides the giant bugs attacking, I think the tyrannical government thing has come to fruition. So maybe there's a little bit of realism in this movie. Go watch it anyways. Simon Says.
So where are we now? Have we voted Starship Troopers?
Yes, we did vote.
All right.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers. That's why I said all the nice things about Die Hard, because we're sending it away.
I have no vote, so move on.
All right. Well, there you go. I don't have much to say about Die Hard with a Vengeance. I actually am one of those few that liked the following movie. I think it was Live Free and Die Hard. Live Free or Die Hard.
With what's his face? The guy, Jason. What's his name?
I know what you're talking about. Justin Long.
Justin Long, that guy.
Yeah, and Timothy Oliphant was in it as well.
I just want to talk more about the Starship Troopers with Eric Estrada.
We will. That is a sequel that is coming out very soon. Yeah, Ponch and John will be making their return to the screen. I'm aging myself, but I used to watch Chips in the morning before school too.
We're talking about bombs on a bus. Perfect segue into the next round.
That's true, and you know what? I keep forgetting that you're supposed to be doing the intros. Okay. Here you go.
All right. Well, next up, we have The Fugitive versus Speed. Fellas, what do you got?
Ooh.
That was my perfect RJ impersonation.
Man, I there's no. I don't know what I'm saying.
This is the tough one right here.
Not for me. Speed, 100%. Dennis Hopper, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, bombs, buses. It's Speed
Elevators.
is amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's knife to the head. Speed is an amazing classic movie. The only part I always have trouble with is the stupid ramp that the bus jumps, and it jumps like a ramp, even though there was never a ramp there. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. For me, that's the only unbelievable part of the movie. But I enjoy it. And if you loved it so much, you get to watch it happen on a boat in Speed 2. And it's the worst movie ever. It's great. So Speed.
Zoolander 2 is up there. Right,
different genres.
Yeah.
Speed for me also. I do really like The Fugitive. I've only seen it a couple of times, but I remember liking it quite a bit. Andy apparently has only seen The Fugitive.
Well, then you'll have a lot to say once it's out.
Did we just vote out the last movie on this bracket that you've actually seen?
No, I'm very familiar with Speed.
You like Speed?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but I would have chosen The Fugitive in this And I think the 96% on Rotten Tomatoes would agree with me as well.
I mean, it's a great movie. Harrison Ford's the man.
Plead your case, Andy.
Tommy Lee Jones. It's. I think it's the drama behind it, really, because I think I'm more of a drama person as far as movies go.
You are very dramatic.
I am. Very, so this is based off of a TV series that was from the 60s, which is basically the same setup. Harrison Ford is, they allege that he murdered his wife. He's being transported to jail. The bus flips over. He escapes, and it kind of goes from there. And Tommy Lee Jones is hunting for him. And it's this whole, like, is he going to catch him? Like, how is he going to elude? Is he going to get away with? He didn't murder. But like, how's this all going to play out? And Speed is kind of the same way too. So I'm as much as I'm kind of bummed that The Fugitive is leaving. I believe both of these movies are very deserving of moving on. So I'm not too hurt in this one. I mean, Harrison Ford did a really terrific job in acting here as well. So there was an interrogation part, which was basically Harrison Ford got like half the script. So a lot of him like fumbling and kind of like, getting, how you would in interrogation was very realistic because it was, he was just playing along with the character. So, I mean,
that's how Andy got so good at his job. He just watched that scene over.
Yeah,
and over.
I just kept watching it. It's I don't know. I think I watched it first, like maybe not even 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, "This is awesome." Mary Lou liked the TV series. Harrison Ford actually said he didn't watch the series. He said he had better things to do in the 60s or something like that.
I mean, if The Fugitive was going up against like Ninja Turtles or Mortal Kombat,
you guys probably would have chose
Starship
Mortal
Troopers.
Kombat or
No, you're incorrect.
All right, as long as I'm incorrect.
All right. Well, hey, that's moving on.
You would have picked one of those movies, and I would have just been like, again, it's my phone, people. It's my phone.
We are now in the top 8.
We had a
movies.
whole fart bit that was going to happen, and it just turned into nonsense.
And Andy farted into his phone to record it, but he's not farting every time. It's
No.